Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, students, and welcome to my class. I shall be your instructor for today's lesson. You may call me Professor Cushing. I teach music at the most prestigious University of Harvard. Well, I used to. That was, of course, until I got fired. As it turns out, if you are caught beating your students in class with a club, tenure does not protect you. Now, due to this, instead of class being scheduled in your usual high-tech classroom, we shall instead be conducting our lesson in my mother's basement. Nevertheless, we must proceed. Now, today's lesson shall be on one of my favorite topics of music. It is, of course, chords, specifically triads, sevenths, and their inversions. Now, why don't we get started here as I take you to my whiteboard and I show you how to construct our very first triad, and then we shall go from there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my whiteboard where we do all the writing. Now, to start this off, I will show you how to construct a triad. Now, to begin, we must start with the root note. In this case, I shall start with the F. As you can see, this is your standard staff with the treble clef. Now, the next note in the triad will be two notes up from the F in the F major scale, which shall be a whole major third above the F, which in this case shall be the A. Now, the third and final note in the triad will be a perfect fifth from the F, or a minor third from the A, which in this case shall be the C. Now, there we go. We have created the most beautiful major triad right there. Now, I shall go ahead and play for you what this sounds like on my marimba over there, so you can hear with your ears what the most beautiful major triad sounds like. Quite glorious, is it not? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I tell you this, we are not done yet. For now, I must show you how to construct the minor triad. Now, the minor triad, unlike the major triad, is not going to be on the F major scale, but rather the F minor scale. So, instead of going from a major third from the root note, we shall be going a minor third, which in this case will be creating an A flat rather than the A. So, now, as I did before, I shall play for you on the marimba what this newfound minor triad sounds like. Quite different, yes? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are not done yet, for unlike the minor third, which is minor triad, which is a minor third and then a major third, there is also the diminished triad, which shall instead be constructed of two minor thirds. So, the C, in addition to the A, will also be flat. So, why do not I once again play for you on the marimba the diminished triad? Yes, what a magnificent specimen it is. However, ladies and gentlemen, we are not done yet, for there is not only a triad for two minor thirds apart, but also one for two major thirds apart. So, if I just go ahead and also carefully erase these flat signs, I shall be able to show you what we do to create two major thirds. All we must do is add a sharp sign there and we have transformed this formerly major F major triad into what we call an F augmented triad. In fact, that is a good memorization tip for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to create a augmented triad from a major triad, all you got to do is try adding an extra half step. Ah yes, I am quite funny, no? Oh yes, thank you very much, I know. I am quite funny. However, class must resume, so why don't I take you back up to the marimba, where I shall play you the augmented triad. Well, that just about does it for the 4 different types of triads. Remember, there's major triad, minor triad, diminished triad, and augmented. Major is a major third followed by a minor third. Minor is going to be a minor third followed by a major third. Diminished will be 2 minor thirds, while augmented shall be 2 major thirds. It is not that difficult to remember, ladies and gentlemen. However, we are not done with the triads yet. For in addition to the root position, there also exists 2 different inversions of your standard triad. Now, right here before your eyes lies the standard root position F major triad in its root position. Now, however, if one would want to invert this, what they must do is get rid of this base F and instead move it up above those 2. And there we have the first inversion of the F major triad. As you can see, the root note is now on the top of the triad rather than the bottom. Although we are not quite done yet, ladies and gentlemen, for if we want to take the second inversion of this F major, what we must do is move it up like that. So now the root note shall be in between the 2. Now, you can remember this, no? Well, hopefully. And now I shall take you up to the marimba, where once again I shall orally play these 2 so you can hear. Ah yes, they sound quite good. Well, before we wrap up triads, I'll just show you that to remind you, if we were to say invert this one more time, bring this C up somewhere above there. I do not care to draw the little lines. We shall once again have the triad in a root position, beginning with the F. However, it should be an octave higher than it was before. So, hopefully, all this discussion of the F minor, F major triad, F major triad, all its inversions, F minor, F diminished, F augmented. Hopefully, all this discussion of triads, you have learned a thing or 2. Otherwise, the F, that shall be the grade you will be getting on your test. Well, students, that just about sums it up for the triads and their inversions. However, they are not quite done yet, because in addition to just the triads, there are also the sevenths. Now, as one might infer from their name, unlike the triads, which contain 3 notes, sevenths actually contain an additional one, creating the distance between the root and the final note 7. That's why they are called sevenths. So, why do not we get started here? As I take you to the whiteboard once again, and I shall show you how to create the most magnificent and illustrious seventh. Alright, students, welcome back to my whiteboard. Now we shall be discussing sevenths. So, why don't we start our sevenths on good old C major. Now, we shall start with the major seventh, which starts out quite similar to the major triad, which would be a major third followed by a minor third. However, it will have one additional note on top, separated by one more major third, looking somewhat like this. Beautiful, is it not? Well, why don't I play it for you on the marimba so you can hear for yourself. Yes, quite lovely. However, there will also be 4 other variations on the seventh. Now, in addition to just the plain old major seventh, there is also the major minor seventh. Now, the major minor seventh will be like the major seventh, however, instead of ending with a major third part, it will be a minor third part, so looking somewhat like this. Now, this one is rather easy to remember because it shall be a major triad followed by a minor third. So, major minor makes sense, does it not? Well, sometimes these are called dominant sevenths as well, but that is not too important. In any case, you can now hear what it sounds like. Alright, next up on the list shall be the minor seventh. Now, the minor seventh is going to be a minor triad followed by a minor third, looking somewhat like this. So there you have it, C minor seventh. Alright, next is what I like to call the half diminished seventh, not to be confused with the wholly diminished seventh. What this is going to be a diminished triad followed by a major third. So it will look a lot like this. Alright, finally, after the half diminished, there is the diminished triad. Seventh. Diminished seventh. Alright, I get the two confused fairly once in a while. So, in any case, here we go. Diminished seventh. There you have it. It is a diminished triad followed by a minor third. Not too complicated. Alright, now you can hear what it sounds like. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as if all these sevenths and triads were not bad enough by themselves, we also have one more thing, these seventh inversions, and then I can finally be done with this. Alright, seventh inversions. We shall go back to the minor seventh, because it is easy. So, for your first inversions, these inversions work very similarly to the triad inversions, as they involve bringing the bottom note up to the top. So, for our first inversion, we shall get this C out of here and move it up here. So it will look something like this. That will be your first inversion. Next, for your second inversion, we shall take this E, we get it out of here, and then move it up to the top, looking somewhat like this. Beautiful, does it not? Alright. However, unlike triad, there are more than just two inversions. There is also a third. What we need to do is take this G out of here, then move it up to the top, surprise, surprise, forming a final third inversion. Then, of course, if you want, you can take that B, move it up to the top, and that will bring you right back to good old root position. Now, to end this lesson off, I shall play all these inversions for you on the marimba one more time, so you can hear what they all sound like, and then we can be done with this. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as if all these sevenths and triads were not bad enough by themselves, we also have one more thing, these seventh inversions, and then I can finally be done with this. Alright, seventh inversions. We shall go back to the minor seventh, because it is easy. So, for your first inversions, these inversions work very similarly to the triad inversions, as they involve bringing the bottom note up to the top. So, for our first inversion, we shall get this C out of here and move it up here. So it will look something like this. That will be your first inversion. Next, for your second inversion, we shall take this E, we get it out of here, and then move it up to the top, looking somewhat like this. Beautiful, does it not? Alright. However, unlike triads, there are more than just two inversions. There is also a third. What we need to do is take this G out of here, then move it up to the top, surprise, surprise, forming a final third inversion. Then, of course, if you want, you can take that B, move it up to the top, and that will bring you right back to good old root position. Now, to end this lesson off, I shall play all these inversions for you on the marimba one more time, so you can hear what they all sound like, and then we can be done with this. First inversion of C major 7th. Second inversion, and third inversion. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that just about does it for my presentation on your chords, your triads, your seventh, and their inversions. I hope you have enjoyed, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you have learned a thing or two, so you do not fail your test. Well, I guess I'm just about done, but one more thing. If any of you people in the audience would happen to know any, universities willing to hire a young, ambitious, and more handsome music professor, be sure to inform me so we can get in touch. But, in any case, thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much. Oh, oops. That was not the right button. There we go. Thank you very much.